Hello everyone! Today I want to give my honest review on Milan Art Institute, the online school and program which helped me to uplevel my skills as a painter and also gave me confidence. I'm going to give the whole scoop of the program, how it was to be a student for this program, everything that you would wish to know if you're deciding whether you want to do this program or not. So the Milan Art Institute is run by the Milans. It was founded by Ellie Milan and John Milan. One of the teachers in the program is Dimitra Milan, which has become really famous for her beautiful, dreamy paintings of women and animals. So they created a powerful program which has the teachings and the foundations of a classical art school program, also with creative mixed media and new innovations that they have come up with their own work, which is really interesting, things you wouldn't normally learn in a traditional art school. Before I joined, I binged their content like crazy. I had one friend who was a really close friend, Lily Marfisi, who makes beautiful animal art on spirit animals. She joined the program before me and I saw her flourish. I saw her going from knowing how to paint a little bit in acrylic to becoming a mind-blowing artist and also selling her paintings and doing amazing exhibitions all over France. Once inside, I did find the program super well structured. So it begins with the oil section. After learning all of the foundation, you learn how to work with different materials. You get business, marketing, and then after you have to work on your portfolio. What I really valued was the emphasis on finding your own art style. However, there's a lot of critique that the people who study at Milan Art Institute all end up painting like Dimitra and Ellie Milan. I have to say I have seen the contrary. I do see a lot of students that I instantly recognize are Milan Art Institute graduates because they do paint exactly like Dimitra and Ellie, but maybe they still have not found their style yet. I believe this is just the beginning where they are still figuring it out from the course. I didn't think that was the case because they really do emphasize you finding your own art style. As you can see, my art style does not look like anything that Dimitra or Ellie Milan paint, except for maybe that it's women. Dimitra is well known for painting women portraits. And my goal from the beginning was to paint in a way that felt true to myself. I do believe I have been able to create my own style, my own techniques, because I have been really, I think, the only person who I know from Milan Art Institute that works with natural earth pigments and who does it in a way that has been very different from people who do work with earth pigments. People who work with earth pigments basically do a lot of abstract art. I feel like a pioneer in this area. I have not got this inspiration from others in the area of natural earth pigment because I am very much experimental. I have even created new ways of painting with earth pigments that I have not seen anywhere else because I've basically invented them and I've invented the recipes to do them. I invented my own natural pigment colored pencils and I still work with mixed media the way I've learned and experimented at Milan Art Institute, but in a totally different way even that they taught me. But that's my own personal bias. That is my own personal experience. However, I have seen people who paint exactly like Ellie and Dimitra Milan, but I believe that they are trying to figure out their own style. They're still not sure where they want to go with their art, which is normal. Even all of the painters that we love learned from emulating the masters before they came up with whatever it was that broke the rules that became their own art style. So that's just my opinion. At Milan Art Institute, they also teach marketing and business. It's really good but very basic as their emphasis is more about teaching art skills. However, because Dimitra, Ellie, and John Milan have been very successful and also their other children with selling their art, it is really a good basic marketing and section on business. And however, there are things that I would have liked to have learned maybe more about art licensing. And then obviously you can always continue learning about marketing and business with business coaches and other people who specifically teach business coaching in the art sector. Being an entrepreneur and working in the jewelry industry for 7 years now, obviously for me it was quite basic, but I think it was really good for a person who had never studied business or created their own business. Obviously, there are things that, due to my background, seem very basic to me. However, I do think it was a really good basic business course added to the curriculum. One of the strongest aspects, I believe, is the portfolio section where you learn how to make a cohesive series. This is where I believe everything clicks, where you learn how to paint in a cohesive manner. You also learn how to paint in series, which is really important because this is what differentiates the amateur and the professional artist. And so I think that this part alone was brilliant and very beneficial for me personally. Right after I began the portfolio section, I was only in my sixth painting. I got accepted to one of the biggest art exhibitions in all of France. And then I had to speed up my portfolio section for the exhibition itself. That part alone, I believe, is a really strong aspect of Milan Art Institute. So if you're on the edge and you're not sure about studying at Milan Art Institute, personally, I would say do it. It was one of the best decisions I ever took. They teach really well, and the curriculum is very well structured. I noticed a drastic change in my art from before I began the program and after. There's no comparison. I will eventually show some of my art from before and after so you can see. I believe that the school really helps. So personally, I am a raving fan of the school, of the Milans, and I am really grateful for Ellie Milan to have created this program, this curriculum to help other artists to be able to make a living, to get better and to upgrade their skills, because not every artist does that. There can be a lot of competition, even in art schools. Sometimes it feels like the teachers are not teaching every single thing they know, so they can keep some information to themselves. I just believe that Ellie, she is very generous. Dimitra as well. The whole Milans, they're very generous with sharing all of their techniques they have come up with on their own and have experimented to find these skills, to be able to find this style. It's very generous of them to share this. Not everyone would. And I believe it is probably one of the best art schools online. Anybody who wants to upgrade their skills and become better at selling their art should study at Milan Art Institute. That is my opinion. Because it has really transformed my life. Let me know in the comments if you're considering studying at Milan Art Institute or if you are one of my peers. I would love to hear from you too so that we can follow each other's work. And I highly recommend this course to anybody. I would love to hear your experience too. See you soon. Bye.